Hey there, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green, and today I'm just going to update you on my orchid collection at the greenhouse where I rent space, and then I'll also take you back to my apartment and show you a couple of the plants that I have there. A lot of things are starting to come into bloom now. It's a really nice time for my collection. First of all, what a surprise! Bulbophyllum medusae looked like all of its spikes had turned black. I was convinced that it just wasn't going to bloom at all. And then suddenly, poof, they start shooting out, and I ended up with 4 flowers. Now, originally there were like 13 spikes, so I can't say I'm not a little disappointed that they all didn't push out, but the fact that they kind of sat around and did nothing for 3 months and then have finally pushed out with the heat of the longer days has been great. This is actually the medusae of a neighbor in the greenhouse. He's got a mounted plant, and you can see that his is in full bloom, and his plant's a little bit smaller, and I would think that that's probably just because it doesn't get as much water as it could use. But I actually took a little bit of pollen out of this plant and introduced it into one of the flowers of mine. And the pollen is teeny tiny. I'm talking like 0.3 millimeters across. It's so small. So I don't know if I even put it in the right place, but it'll be cool if it takes. This is Appletonianum. It's got 2 buds on it, which is kind of unusual for this species, I think. The flower looks like it's coming out a little bit wonky, but I'm still looking forward to seeing it bloom. And then there's 2 more paphs that are in bud right now. There's a Paph urbanianum. It also recently showed me that it got 2 buds on it as well, so that's super exciting. I'm kind of worried that the water is going to collect between the leaves there. Hopefully it won't, but and then in the background there's a Paph tonsum that's actually budding up too, so the slipper orchids are going to be blooming soon. Phalaenopsis schilleriana is getting ever closer to blooming. The buds are really starting to swell up now. I'd still say I'm a couple weeks away at least from seeing my first flower, but I'd say definitely by the first week of March that this guy will be in bloom. There's something, I don't know, I'm really glad that I decided not to stake it, because the way that the spike naturally sorts itself out to arch down and the flowers to kind of cascade in a nice spray, I think it's going to be a really nice show. But there's something about the leaves that I'm a little concerned about. Ever since I moved it to this side of my space, it's developed these little discolorations, almost like spots. And when I look at them from the other side, they even look worse. And the same thing happened to my Bulbophyllum labii when it was sitting in a similar spot. For some reason, after this beautiful leaf came out, it's got spots all over it. And then this is a Stanhopea that's also in that same side of the space, and it's got random spots on it too, and it's just on that one leaf. So I'm wondering if there's not water dripping from the ceiling or something. Let's look at the Cattleyas. There's the seed pod from last year. Hopefully that's going to hold on. But it's really full-on growth season for these guys. They're starting to put out the new leaves and roots that will eventually be the mature growths that, if I'm going to have any flowers this summer, these will be them. And I'm really excited because the mounted plants especially are doing really well. And there's multiple leads, and wouldn't it be awesome to have one plant come out with 2 different spikes? Be super excited to have that bloom. Just love seeing the growth pushing out of these guys, especially this time of year after they've kind of just suffered through the cooler winter. I've lost 2 plants this winter actually, so I'm glad that we're finally past the worst of it. And then this is a Fredclarkeara unnamed hybrid, but it put out this huge bulb last year and then didn't bloom, but it does have a new growth on it, so maybe we'll see something out of it next year, or maybe later this year. Now this is Hal. Hal is Bulbophyllum echinolabium, and check this out. At first I was not sure if these were going to be growths or spikes, but now I'm pretty sure these are spikes. I mean, they're long, they're thin. If they were growths, they'd be a lot wider than that. Now, what's this little grassy thing? Someone asked me about this last week. This is actually a little piece of Dendrochilum tenelum, and it's a piece of this plant. My neighbor in the greenhouse actually gave me just a tiny little sprig of this specimen last year, and it even over just the course of a year, it's doubled in size. So I can see that this would be a plant that gets really big really fast. It's got lovely white sprays of flowers. And then this is a Bulbophyllum Lovely Elizabeth that it just keeps growing and growing. The growth is great on it, but it won't bloom. And then down here, kind of hidden, is another little smaller Bulbophyllum. This is Bulbophyllum Cattenulatum, also a gift from my neighbor. And it looks like it's going to pop open soon. I'm really impressed at that little flower. It looks really cute. So that is all from the greenhouse collection. Like I said, after a few months of really not having a lot of things in bloom, things are starting to look up. I'm starting to see growth, starting to see buds popping out, so that's going to be really exciting. So why don't we head over to my apartment now and see what I've got over there. Hey there, we're back at the apartment, and I got a few orchids here that I brought from the greenhouse that are in bloom. So those are nice, I can enjoy them at home. Mormodia Jumbo World, so cute. It did have a few buds that blasted, but overall, still super nice. It was definitely a hit at the Orchid Society meeting. A lot of people commented on it. Just love this little guy. And then another one in bloom. This is my RLC Jessie Lee. And Jessie Lee is going to have 7 flowers total, which seems a little excessive for such a small plant, but I'll take it. Hopefully it'll grow well for me. My paphs, my multiflorals that I have here are doing pretty well. Paph Prime Child's got a nice new growth pushing out here. It's got several growths on this plant. They seem to be doing okay. This is my little Paph Michael Kopowitz, and it's got 4 growths on it. 2 in the front here. And then it's got 2 back here. And something that I actually got really excited about was I saw that it has a new root pushing through. I love being able to see the roots pushing through, especially through the clear plastic pots like that. It just shows you the plant is growing. New roots, always a great sign that things are going okay. And then this is my little Paphiopedilum, and it's got new little growth pushing out there. Oh, by the way, one of my friends at the greenhouse said that she had way too many of these ceramic pots, so she gave me this one today. Wonderful. And then this one that's upside down. Really pretty. And then Cycnotus Wine Delight over here. Look at this. Growing like crazy. Roots. New growth. Great. And then I wanted to show you my Clivia miniata. Not an orchid, but I have it in this huge pot, and a lot of people told me, you know, it's over potted and they need to be in small pots. Well, the problem is I unpotted it, and the root system really is this big. It's got a huge root system, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't want to cut the roots. So I got a great bit of information from a friend on Instagram who sent me a picture of some Clivia growing instructions, and it said that they should be potted in bark with humus. So I took some of the old mix, which was like a succulent mix, and then I mixed it with orchid bark, and it's mostly orchid bark, just a tiny bit of the succulent mix in it. And the pot's actually really light, even though it's quite big, because there's so much air in there. I'm hoping this looser mix is going to do a lot better for it. There is water in the pot down here. I just watered it, so I will have to drain that out so it doesn't sit in it. But you know, the leaves, especially the outer leaves, it really looks like it's dropping more leaves than I would like. The newest leaf looks good. And if I look down right in the center there, it looks like there is going to be flowers this year as well. That's good news. So hopefully it will reestablish itself and it will do better in that lighter area mix. Okay, and that's all. So I really appreciate you guys stopping by to check on my green pets. Happy growing, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, just one more thing. Yesterday I responded to an ad from my local orchid society. There was a member who was getting rid of plants, and so I went to her house just to see what she had, and I ended up with these 3 Cattleyas types I'm actually really happy about. This is a Cattleyas Bobels by Bob Betts, or Bob Betts by Bobels. It's going to be a big white floofy Cattleya, and it just looks so good, so healthy. Leaves look awesome. And then this one is a Cattleya Maxima, which I kind of have been wanting since, well, for a while, but then I saw Stephen Van Camp and Lewis's Maxima a few weeks ago, and it looks amazing. This one's from Seattle Orchids originally. Again, looks great. It's even got sheaths, but the growths look too small to bloom, but I don't know if it will or not. But super excited. Also looks great. And then finally, look at this. I've been showing you the past couple weeks at the greenhouse. These are in bloom. This Rhyncholaeliocattleya, what's it called, Aristocrat, and she had one in bloom, and look how nice the plant is. Just look at all the growth, right? It's just this big long, I could probably divide the thing in 3 if I wanted to right now, but it's in bloom. It's putting out a new growth. That one might bloom too, I don't know, but super excited about these. So I just wanted to share those with you, and we'll see you next time. Happy growing, guys.